Chapter 398, Saintess of the Heresy. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Violet Thunder Sword was made of purple ribbed steel. Its blade was forged in a pool of the Thunder Vulture's blood, creating a boundless power. It was an unique treasured sword. When Jiang Yuochen activated the 72 lines of basic electric inscriptions, a giant purple shadow rose from the blade. It spread out both of its wings like a giant thunder eagle. Suddenly, Jiang Yuochen seemed to find something interesting. He spared a glance at the shadow that was not far away. His arms swung and chopped over. Swish! That was a thunder eagle condensed by the thunderbolt. It seemed to have come to life and flew toward the shadow. It was not a real thunder eagle but a shadow compressed by sword chi and lightning, which was called transformation by sword chi. Juanmook Singerling, who was standing in the shadow, did not expect that she would be discovered by Jiang Yuochen, so she immediately applied her body movement and sidestepped to the left. It seemed to be one step, but she actually moved 33 meters. It left a series of shadow, and the speed was as quick as a ghost. Whoosh! The sword chi that turned into the Thunder Eagle did not dissipate. It seemed to have a mind of its own and chased after Juanmook Singerling, attacking relentlessly. A purple combat sword flew out of Thunder Eagle's stomach and attacked toward the Juanmook Singerling's back. Juanmook Singerling sensed danger from her back. She suddenly stopped and did a backflip, jumping over by the purple combat sword. She then attacked the Thunder Eagle with her palm. Juanmook Singerling's palm turned red and struck out a giant flying snake with 4 wings on its back. It widely opened its mouth and swallowed the Thunder Eagle. She applied the transformation by palm force. She moved the genuine chi with her palm and turned it into a flying snake, which had a great explosive power. Jiang Yuochen struck out with the sword again. His arm shook and turned into 7 illusory images of sword chi. 7 swords slashed toward Juanmook Singerling at the same time. It was the first move of 13 swords techniques of soul chasing, haunting septuple kill. At this very moment, the power Jiang Yuochen applied was totally different from the power he applied to the martial arts stage. It was no longer looked sluggish and slow. The slash appeared out of nowhere like a bolt of lightning and it swept towards Juanmook Singerling like the wind. Even though it was still the same move of haunting septuple kill, it was totally different as Jiang Yuochen's mastery brought this move up to another level. Amazing. He has already practiced 13 swords techniques of soul chasing into the perfection of martial arts. Juanmook Singerling was surprised. Juanmook Singerling was up in the air and had not landed. The white bracelet on her wrist span quickly under the infuriation of genuine chi. It became bigger and flew out from her wrist. It was a weapon of the 10th level of the genuine martial arms and it was called the Anti-Dragon Ring. It was said that it could expand and shrink. If the inscriptions were all activated, it could even lock a giant flood dragon. Anti-Dragon Ring clashed with Violet Thunder Sword. A large number of sparks came out. A layer of genuine chi wave gushed out into the distance. Luckily, there was an array set up in the courier station of Marshall Market. Otherwise, the fight between them would destroy almost half of the courier station. Juanmook Singerling wore a black nightcrawler coat and a black hood with only her bright eyes were being exposed. After holding back Jiang Yuochen's sword attack, she turned around immediately and flew away. She wanted to escape. Juanmook Singerling was here because she was influenced by what Jiang Yuochen had said the other day. She could not help but came over to see him. She did not really want to have a fight with Jiang Yuochen, so she took the chance to try and leave. She immediately applied the bodily movement with all her might. However, Jiang Yuochen was faster. Suddenly, he was behind her and stabbed toward her again with his sword. Juanmook Singerling struck out the Anti-Dragon Ring again. With a swooshing sound, the Anti-Dragon Ring flew above Jiang Yuochen's head and started to spin quickly. It turned bigger and attacked over from above, wanting to lock Jiang Yuochen. Swoosh! Jiang Yuochen flew downwards quickly and swung his sword upward. The sword tip accurately hit the Anti-Dragon Ring and the ring spinned away. Juanmook Singerling swung her sleeves and drove a stroke of genuine chi. She wrapped up the Anti-Dragon Ring the genuine chi and withdrew it quickly. She put it on her wrist again. At the same time, her feet gently landed on a nearby cornice. Under the moonlight, Duan Xingling appeared to be very graceful. She was curvaceous and every curve of her was full of endless temptation. Crash! There was a loud sound. Duan Xingling's black hood was ripped open. Her long blackish hair fell down, exposing her fair forehead along with her long and arched eyebrows arched above her big, beautiful eyes. However, the face below her eyes was still covered by the black cloth. Duan Xingling was a bit flustered. She had no idea when she was stabbed by the sword. It was just her hood that was torn apart. If the sword chi was slightly more powerful, her neck would have been cut off. Swoosh! Zhang Yuochen swung his arm and turned the violet thunder sword into a flying light. It accurately landed in the sword scabbard about 33 meters away. Senior Sister Apprentice Duan, you have come to visit me late at night. There must be something you want to talk about. How did you know it is me? Duan Xingling slowly pulled off the cloth on her face, exposing her beautiful face. Her skin was crystal clear and she had delicate facial features. She seemed to be not much older than 10 years old, but she was very enchanting and attractive. Zhang Yuochen walked to the side of a stone table in the yard. He flicked his sleeves and a stroke of chi billow gushed out and blew off the dust on the two stone stools. He sat on one of the stool and said slowly, "We have been friends for almost 3 years. It would be strange if I didn't recognize you." Zhang Yuochen sniffed with his nose. He said, "There seemed to be your scent in the air. Did you deliberately want me to recognize you?" Duan Xingling flew off from the cornice and sat opposite to Zhang Yuochen. She had a worried look on her face and it was in total contrast with her usually cheerful look. After a long while, Duan Xingling broke the silence and raised her beautiful face. She said, "Do you already know my identity?" Zhang Yuochen said with a smile, "Just some few guesses. I am not completely certain." Duan Xingling saw Zhang Yuochen's smile. She felt more relieved and pouted her lips. She said, "Then tell me your guesses. I want to know if you are right." Zhang Yuochen stared at Duan Xingling's eyes. He said, "You are a saintess of moon worship demonic sect. Those who appeared at the Tongming River are not warriors of Duan family but apprentices of the Heresy." Duan Xingling's smile turned stiff. She signed and slightly frowned. She hesitated and finally said, "You are right." Zhang Yuochen, "Why?" Duan Xingling said, "Are you asking why did I change my appearance just to enter the school of the martial market? How about you answer my question first? How did you know my identity?" Zhang Yuochen stretched out 3 fingers. He said, 3 reasons. First, you are too talented. The disciples of the powerful saint families are not even in your league. A half-saint family can't cultivate a god's favored daughter like you. If I am right, you didn't use all of your power when you were at the Saint Academy's examination. Duan Xingling showed her snow-white teeth with a smile. "But isn't your talent even higher than mine?" Zhang Yuochen said, "I do have a big secret, but I can't tell you right now. It is because of this secret that I got to be where I am today." Duan Xingling, "Then what is the second reason?" Zhang Yuochen said, "The Saintess of the Heresy has been in Omen Ridge once." "How can such a big shot like her be in Omen Ridge?" Duan Xingling said with a smile, "Wasn't Yi also in Omen Ridge?" Zhang Yuochen replied, Yi went to Omen Ridge for the Dragon Sarira. So why did the Saintess of the Heresy go there for? Moreover, Yi didn't rescue me, the Saintess of the Heresy did. We don't even know each other. Why did she do that? Duan Xingling was frustrated and said, "It seems like you knew from long ago." In Yunwu city of Yunwu Commandery Prince, when Zhang Yuochen was hunted down by the black market masters, Duan Xingling helped him defeat the black market masters by using the identity of the Saintess of the Heresy. Zhang Yuochen continued, "And the third reason. In Tongming River, when I strived for the Dragon Sarira, Duan family gathered several hundred warriors in the completion of the Earth realm in a very short time. Even the dominator of Omen Ridge, Yuntai Suzerain, and Tai King Palace couldn't do it. How could the Duan family do it?" Since then, I had started to doubt you. Combining the 3 reasons, it is not hard to guess your identity. Duan Xingling said, "Since you have known my identity, what are you going to do next?" Zhang Yuochen smiled and said, You have to answer my question first. Juan Singerling said, "It was certainly Sect Master's idea to send me to the school of the martial market. He asked me to practice hard and try to become a high level in the martial market bank. As simple as that?" Zhang Yuochen was unconvinced. Of course. Juan Singerling crossed her arms over her chest. She spoke seriously. Zhang Yuochen stopped asking and advised, "Senior Sister Apprentice Juan, what you are doing is very dangerous. If the superior of Saint Academy finds out your identity, you will end up in a miserable situation. You should also know that the spies of the black market and the evil all end up dead if caught." Juan Singerling was a bit dejected. She said, "You think I had a choice? It is the sect master's order. How could I reject it? Although I am the Saintess and I can give orders to masters of all demonic sect, I am just a servant of all the sect saints. If I am not a saint, I can only be a non-entity." She stared at Zhang Yuochen and continued, "Now that you know my identity, will you tell it to the elder of Saint Academy?" Zhang Yuochen stood up and said, "Of course not." If Zhang Yuochen exposed Juan Singerling's identity to Saint Academy, it would certainly be a great credit, and he would be rewarded heftily. However, he would not do that. Zhang Yuochen joined the school of the martial market to look for a better place to practice and help improve himself. At the same time, if he was in danger, he would be protected by the school of the martial market. There was no need to betray a friend. There was only one enemy in Zhang Yuochen's mind, Empress Kaiyao. As long as they had matched personalities and could help and support each other, anyone, even the warriors of the black market and believers of the heresy, could be his friends. After listening to Zhang Yuochen's affirmative answer, Juan Singerling blinked her eyelashes. She could not help but shed tears and walked to Zhang Yuochen's back. She unfolded a pair of her snow-white lotus-like arms and hugged Zhang Yuochen. Zhang Yuochen could clearly feel that a fine soft body fell on his back. It seemed that there were two fluffy balloons that pressed tightly on him with the seductive warmness of a woman's body. Hiding in the school of the martial market for several years, Juan Singerling had been under great pressure. It was like treading on the thin ice. She was very careful, and dared not tell anyone about her secret that had been buried in her mind all these years. Juan Singerling seemed to be very optimistic, but her heart was actually filled with fear. Now she finally spoke out her identity and shared it with Zhang Yuochen, and Zhang Yuochen had willingly lent her his ears. The touch and the relief made all Juan Singerling's bottled up stress and worries flood out of her in an instant.